Good day, everyone. It's nice to see you tuning into my to the Openhand temple, to the Openhand studio. And yeah, today we're going to get right into it. We're not going to hang around at all. We've got a lot of material to cover, so we're going to get right in. And I want to explore with you the importance of facilitating from a meditative state, bringing your person you're working with, your client, into a meditative state, and how to approach that, how to guide the meditations, how to unfold a client within your field and what you're likely to experience, and then how to start connecting with them in relation to that, just the beginning. So the first aspect is getting both parties into the right state for the session to begin. Bearing in mind that this is not intellectual life coaching, as if anyone was under the mistake that it is. It's not that. It's connecting up to the energy and letting the energy speak, animate, and bring truth, illumination forwards. And really, that's what this is all about. With that in mind, I'm just going to play us the track, and I can see a couple of people still settling in, so I'm going to play us a track. I want you just to sit back and really relax, let go whatever busyness that you may have been involved with prior to this. The external world can be a very busy one, can't it? And one of the most crucial things in regards to facilitation is we take the time beforehand to really settle down and become very still within. And that'll become a very apparent as we go forwards why that's so important. So I'm going to play a track. As I do, I'd like you just to sit back, relax, really settle down. Remember the breathing connection, and really opening your heart as well to those that can work with you, divine guidance, your team, so to speak.
Siri Guru Deve Name Ad Gure Name Jugat Gure Name Sat Gure Name Siri Guru Deve Name Ad Gure Name Jugat Gure Name
So the breath connecting you deep inside, and then as we prepare to open our eyes, reminding ourselves that it's the deep inner connection which is the basis of the real alchemy of facilitation, and to always, but always be coming from that energy, meaning with your attention internally connected and paying attention to how you're feeling and being. This being fundamental to our chemical, spiritual facilitation. And preparing to open your eyes and yet staying attentive on the inner. Okay, let's imagine you're about to begin a session with a client, and it's going to happen fairly soon on Zoom or Skype or whatever mechanism you're using, or in person at your place, your studio, wherever you're working from. Let's imagine you're about to begin a session with a client. And the first and foremost thing would be the setup of the space, and we will come into that later. I don't want to talk about that today. I want to talk about more coming from the meditation space, from the right sense of connection internally. And so we'll begin with that from that place. The key thing is to allow, I would say, an absolute minimum of 15 minutes before the client shows up, and that is cutting it fine. That's cutting it very fine. In the beginning, I'd suggest half an hour. And I'm going to give you time to make notes afterwards, by the way, in the booklet. So, I mean, if you want to make notes as you're going along, that's fine. But the most important thing is to tune into what's being shared. So I would say a minimum of 15 minutes, absolute, and that's really cutting it fine to get yourself in the right place and the right frame of beingness to conduct the session. And so what you really want to be doing is using that kind of breakthrough breathing that we've been practicing through the core program to really relax yourself into the space and really settle yourself down. That's the first thing that's going to be important. And then what we want to be doing is opening up multidimensionally. Because as we've said yesterday, a person that you're going to be working with, their soul is going to be fragmented on different planes of consciousness. Therefore, by opening yourself up on those different planes, your field starts to dance with theirs. And you will appreciate that to varying degrees in the beginning. If you're relatively new to it, you might, it could take some good amount of time to start to pick this up. And that's okay. But as long as you begin with the intention, shall we say, to be connecting on those levels and the possibility that it exists. And some of this is going to happen intuitively anyway. It's going to just happen. You don't necessarily have to apply masses of effort or energy or concentration into it. Just apply yourself to the possibility of it, and then you'll start to appreciate things in a way that you hadn't necessarily previously thought was possible. So for me, for example, back in the early days, when I started doing client facilitations, it started with breath work, my own breath work. Then I'd connect with a client. Then after a short while, I'd start seeing visions. I'd start seeing visions which I realized were karmic visions of their karma. And we'll talk about how we can apply that later on. But basically what's happening is my field would be dancing with theirs in the 4D. And it just started to happen. And then higher up, 5D, the knowing came how to work with that. It just landed. And it's about just noticing how those things land and how they work for you. But the key to realize from the beginning is we want to be working on a multidimensional level and to come from that place. So I'm going to guide us now in the kind of multidimensional meditation that I would do prior to a session beginning. So imagine you spent a few minutes doing the breathing, the breakthrough breathing, just to settle down. And now I would go into a period of time of opening through the dimensions. And this is what I'm going to guide you in now. So I just want to share with you what that is. You'll have experienced something like it on all the courses, but I want you to take note of the kind of thing that I would recommend to be doing. Okay, so could everybody close your eyes, please? And just begin by the usual breakthrough breathing. Inhale up, hold. Exhale down, hold. And witnessing. And now bring your attention into the base chakra on the back of the spine. Inhale as you exhale. Exhale through the physical body, And as you exhale, just gently attune to the physical and relax it. Soften it up. Relax right down. So you're holding no tension. So that's the physical aspect. Now bring your attention up the spine to the sacrum, the back of the spine. Inhale, exhale. As you exhale, you're now exhaling into the next layer of lightness. Just that, really, just that, the sense of it. You can imagine that the physical is that aspect below the base, so the lower part of the body. And now you're coming into the sacrum and you're breathing into the next layer above it. Next layer of lightness. It's the emotional plane. And you're relaxing the emotions right down, like bringing a lake to stillness. And come up the spine to the solar plexus, back of the spine. Inhale, exhale. You're now into the plane of the intellect, lower mind. If the base is the physical and the earth, the sacrum is the emotional, the plane of water, then this would be the sky. Inhale, exhale. And you may have thoughts and things buzzing around, but the key is not to attach to them. Let them float across the sky like clouds, drifting across the sky. So even if the mind isn't still, at least you're not attaching to what flows through it. And you're more centered in your feelings. You're more in the canvas upon which these experiences are happening. Higher now, come up the spine to the back of the heart. Inhale, exhale. You're in the plane of karma now. Like the outer reaches of the atmosphere where it's getting very fine. It's also the energy body. And so you might start to feel things kicking off, strange vibrations, tightness. You may already start to feel things like that kicking off. That's okay. The important thing is to notice if it is. Just to be aware of what might be active for you. Because what we want to do is to calm that so that we can feel what's active for our client. So just let that calm. And now come up the spine to the back of the throat. Inhale, exhale. You're in the plane of knowing now, of higher mind, where inspiration, visions, knowings can land in a flash. If we're attentive to them. Like a word might pop out of the ether, an image, a knowing. Come up higher back of the third eye, inhale, exhale. You're in the plane of what we might call beingness. This is also about your self-expression. Sometimes you'll be called upon to be soft and surrendering, sometimes focused and catalytic. It's important to honor what you feel and how you feel to be in the engagement. This comes from this plane that the third eye connects into. And now the crown, inhale, exhale. You're now touching the vortex that goes into the presence, into the singularity. This is where miracles and magic emerge from. Just happen. You're actually, by creating the opening, you're actually manifesting them because you created the opening. Okay, so likelihood is now you'll feel very different to when we began. And this is the kind of state you want to be coming from. Okay, you might have things kicking off of your own as well, that's okay. Now what you need to do now is if there is anything kicking off of your own, just hold that. Just be attentive, hold that. You're going to hold it so that you can expand around it to hold the space for your client. So let's say you have something in the heart where you're just going to hold that. You're going to contain it. You're going to let it settle back down. And you're just going to open up around it. So you're present for your client, for example. So now you're in a more expanded state, a more multi-dimensional state. You're ready to engage with the client. Just want you now to slowly begin to open the eyes, and yet staying as much as you can with that sense feeling of being in that expansion. Okay, this is preparing yourself for a session. Does anybody have any questions about that? If you do, just put your hand up. It's fairly straightforward, but I say it's straightforward, but that in itself, that's something that's infinite, eternal. You can always go deeper. You can always unfold more. So it's not like I mastered that in one session. There is no ultimate mastery of that. There is deepening. There is deepening, and you find more and more comes to you the more you work with that. And because you're going to be working with a client, you're going to see a direct relationship with your opening and the work. The more of it that you do, it's a great kind of reflection, a great bellwether of where you're at in your practice. Okay, what I'd like you to do is, before I take you through a client meditation, on page 3, there's the first paragraph which says the important considerations in coming from the energy. I just want you to make a few notes just at that point. What is important, do you recognize and notice for you in preparing yourself and coming from the energy? What's important to you? What have you picked up? What have you noticed already? Yeah, Mega, go ahead.
So the heart kicked for me very dramatically during doing that. So my question was, you spoke about how to calm it down. So I just hold it and then expand.
Yeah, you find a way basically to contain it. So you recognize something's kicking off in your field and you contain that. So for example, for me, I do it with feeling. I'd say, right, okay, I can feel this kicking off in myself. So I'm just going to hold that with feeling. Like the way I metaphoricize it is I hold it like that.
Okay.
And then I feel my field expanding around it. So now I'm able to engage with you, even though I've got something going on myself.
Okay.
Or you might visualize it. You might see, if you're a visual person, you might contain it in a box or something like that. Yeah. Now, now there might be a time when you're really active, and you might have to delay the session, but that's not the ideal. But but be mindful that that could be possible. That could be possible if you got something really firing off, you know.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Could people also go on to look at the second part, which says client meditation, which should say dimensional meditation, and what just a couple of key things for you that you took from that multidimensional meditation that I guided? What's important for you within relation to that? A couple of pointers to point you in the right direction when you're doing it yourself. Matthew, you look a little confused. Are you okay? No? You're all right? Okay, fine. Yeah, Niels.
I'm sorry, I don't fully understand the question. I guess I'm lost in my head or something.
Okay. So it's really just making a note of what are the main considerations that you need to make a note of for yourself about preparing yourself for a client engagement.
Thank you.
Okay. Basically, I've just put some pointers in these 3 paragraphs to think about. Okay, the 3rd point on there about creating vortices, vortexes. We're going to get into this because it's in quite some detail and it is quite advanced. So at this point, I just want to introduce it. In fact, I introduced it yesterday. What I'm saying is essentially is that the universe works like a torus. We said this so many times. And that what we're working to do is to animate that for ourselves and hold the client in it. We're going to work to animate it for ourselves, and we're going to do that today. We're going to work to animate it in ourselves and then animate it for our client. Because what this is going to do is accelerate the movement of energy. It's going to accelerate the movement of energy in them and activate these blockages. Someone asked me, what's the difference between the first and 2nd paragraph, Cindy? The first one is really about, remember the first meditation was simply connecting up. It was simply breathing, using the breakthrough breathing to connect up and settling down. The second part is becoming multidimensional. And so working to settle into the various layers. And now the 3rd part is paying attention to the fact that we're going to be animating these. And really that's just allowing the energy to start to move around you. And we're going to see how that's applicable in a moment or 2. But those are really the 3 considerations. There's 3 things to pay attention to. Connecting with the breathing, opening to multidimensionality, and then recognizing that I become capable of animating vortices. These are the three considerations that we're going to be applying ourselves to. We're going to be doing it practically very soon. So I put them there to bring to attention. So really the workbook is for you to make any notes that you think you want to pay attention to that's important from what you're picking up. Okay, so let's imagine now you've prepared yourself and your client has appeared on your Zoom screen, and you're going to guide them in a session. And so I'm going to demo with Leslie basically how I would begin. I just want you to notice, just pay attention and see what you notice. And then we'll talk about it afterwards. And then we'll get you to practice with one another, doing the same thing. Okay. So, Leslie, hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Great, great. So you contacted me about, you said you had an issue going on in your job, and you wanted to explore that. So I'm happy for us to, let's progress and let's look into what might be coming up for you.
Okay.
I know we've only done a couple of sessions before, so let me clarify exactly how I'm going to be working. The way I work is I come from the intuitive field, I connect up with the field, and then my approach is to connect with you and use intuitive questioning to facilitate you going into and inquiring and feeling for yourself what might be coming up. So my approach is assisted self-realization.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That's
cool.
good.
Great. So I'm going to guide you in a meditation now, and the purpose is to relax you right down and for us to connect multidimensionally.
Okay.
So what I'd like you to do is just close your eyes,
Okay.
settle back and relax. And for the rest of the group, just notice now the various stages that I will take Leslie through. I'd just like you to first pay attention to your breath and really relax the breathing. Inhale up, exhale down, and really feel yourself settling. And really the breath is a carrier of consciousness, a carrier of the soul. So we're going to accelerate the movement of soul by inhaling from the base up through the body, relaxing the body. We're going to inhale up above the crown, then hold the breath. As you hold the breath, just feel the connection of lightness. Then as you exhale, just the sense of breathing that lightness down through your being and really relaxing, really softening. Now bring your attention up to the crown. Inhale, exhale in the crown. And just really give the sense of letting go. Give yourself permission to let go. Then work down through the head, giving yourself complete permission to let go and release. Down through the head, the face, holding no tension, releasing, unwinding. A deep sigh, a deep sense of relaxation. Down through the face and the jaw, holding no tension. Then down through the neck. Softening, opening, releasing. And into the shoulders, relaxing, carrying no tension, no weight. Down through the arms, relaxing, softening. And into the hands, complete letting go, complete surrender. And now the chest, softening, opening, relaxing, calming. Down into the body, the abdomen. A deep sigh, unraveling, releasing, holding nothing. Like you're sinking into a hot bath at the end of the day. A nice aromatic bath. Deepening, softening down through the abdomen, into the pelvis, releasing, unwinding. And right down to the base. Feeling connected, grounded. Now a few moments, inhale up, exhale down, just complete relaxation in your field. Complete relaxation in your field. And then just beginning to slowly open the eyes and yet staying with the feelings that you're now having. Okay. So, that is a meditation just to prepare your client to begin. There's another stage to it which I'll introduce us to afterwards, but that's what I want us to practice right now. How many of you, hands up, have not guided meditation before? How many have not guided meditation before? Okay, fine. There is one crucial thing to bear in mind. You have watched me do it. That's how I would do it. I'm not saying this is how you should do it. I'm saying you should find your way of doing it, and those are the main pointers to be aware of. And one more I'd like to make absolutely 100% clear. In fact, probably the most important. And it's this. When you guide a meditation, you are guiding yourself in meditation, but involving the other in it. You are guiding yourself and involving the other in it. So you're doing the meditation as if it is for you, but you're bringing the other person into it. Therefore, it wants to be spontaneous. It wants to be authentic and real for how you're feeling to be now and how you're feeling to meditate now. So it's very in the moment. It goes with what you feel and it brings the other into that. It's not some scripted step-by-step regurgitated kind of I've seen this done before, it just doesn't work. It doesn't take people where they need to go. It wants to be you guiding yourself, naturally bringing the other into it. Okay. So who can hear the hedge clippers in the background? Is that carrying? Can you all hear that? You can. It's a classic thing. You're going to get distracted. And this is why it's really important to be able to focus meditatively, you know, and you develop that as a practice. We've just lost Thomas. I'm just going to put him again. Okay, so what I'm going to do, has anyone got any questions about that before I break you down into pairs? If you've got a question, just put your hand up. Otherwise, I think it's fairly straightforward. But I can imagine some people, I mean, I can imagine, you know, people feeling a bit nervous if you've not done it before. Well, that's fine. There's always a place to begin. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to break out into the breakout rooms. You will find that when I activate the rooms, you'll be asked to accept the room, and it will bring you into a room with a partner. And then decide who's going first, and you then guide the partner. And then I'll send out a notification to change over, so then the other partner guides you. That keeps us kind of working together. So I'm gonna create the breakout rooms.
Wait, open.
Yeah.
We lost your volume there and it wasn't on my computer, I don't think. We lost your volume there for like the last minute.
The last minute. Okay.
Oh, really?
I could hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm just going to create the breakout rooms. Okay, if you happen to have done this before, then I suggest you lead the first one. So just to give someone who's new to it a little bit more experience with it. Okay, so the rooms are opening now. You just need to accept them and then decide who's going first. And I'll send out a notification when we're changing over. Natombe? 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 He drifted off, okay. Half an hour, 20 past.
A sigh of relief, something like that. Breathe in and breathe out. Just kind of settling. Just follow your breath. Stay with your breath. Imagine that breath is all there is. There's nothing else, just your breath. Everything else fades away. Just your breath. Just all there is. Breathe all the way up. Above your head. Hold the breath there and just hold your breath and release all the way down through the body. Inhale up. Feel the expansion above your head, lightness. Expand all the way down.
And feel into the connection, the presence. Feel her holding you. Feel her energizing you. Nurturing you. And just for a few breaths, enjoy the feeling.
Up to the throat chakra this time, and releasing from there. And as we release from that area, releasing through those shoulders, chest, underarms where energy can often be trapped. And now breathing the energies out of the upper body. That's chest and abdomen. Just letting them go. And notice the body as it starts to get a sense of coming alive again without the added tensions. So as we work down the body, noticing what's happening in the lower abdomen area. Often we hold ourselves tight there. So just breathing into that area and lower back.
It feels good when you let it go. One more time. And exhale. Oh, it's bringing you down deeper and deeper. Inhale. You can feel it in your lower back, your middle back. Release. And next, we're going to go down to the pelvis area. The hips, the pelvis. Breathe into a sacral space.
Sit down under that tree and sit with your sense of relaxation and just allow your mind to become deeply, deeply relaxed. Allowing thoughts to come and go, but not attaching to those thoughts, just allowing your mind to be. And I'd like you to sit like that for a few moments.
And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to slowly open your eyes. I don't want you to slowly open your eyes and stay as connected as you can with those feelings of being relaxed and yet connected. Just
warmth now that brings. We can allow our imagination to think about the rest of our environment, which for today will be a beautiful green meadow. And we realize we're lying in the middle of this gorgeous green meadow, and then we've suddenly become aware that it is filled, excuse me, filled with flowers of
A doctor
That's
here
true
is,
here as well.
yeah, a doctor here is, we're supposed to switch now.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yes.
Okay.
Hang on, I haven't actually. I was just popping into one or two of the rooms. The other people are just finishing off, so just take a moment. I'll send a message around in a moment.
Oh,
okay.
Did that all go okay?
Yes, it was
well.
very quick. So we're just chit-chatting.
Okay, cool. I'll leave the room and I'll send around a message.
Sure.
Thanks, Open.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
If that is too slow for you, then take a couple of breaths in the middle. Inhale up above the crown. Exhale down, all the way down to the base. Now inhale up above the crown and hold the breath and feel the expansion